All right, welcome back, everybody. Episode number 37 of the Plumecast, my weekly gaming news podcast. Thank you guys all for stopping by for another week and watching all of my videos this week. It's been an awesome week as usual, as it is every single week. I mean, you can't really complain when video games right now are in a state where you're always having something to play and just always have something new to check out, especially with a service like Xbox Game Pass, which has been very, very nice to me this month. I've found myself checking out and spending so much time playing Game Pass games this month. So it's really, really been awesome. But yeah, welcome back for another week. And there's some things I want to talk about that I didn't get to with my daily videos. But like always, if you haven't checked out those daily videos yet, and you're interested in kind of what my channel's all about, if you're new here, make sure to go check those out. So on Plumecast, every week I do drink a beer. I enjoy relaxing and having a beer or two while I play games and just kind of wind down from the week. And this week's beer is a traditional English ale called Hockley Dark. So I like dark beers. I like the flavor. I kind of like the intensity of them. Not all of them. Some of them can be just not taste very good, but I like dark beers. I like red ales. I like lagers, pilsners. I've gotten into some sour beers recently, which I'm enjoying. So definitely have my variety of stuff that I enjoy drinking. And yeah, let me know what you guys are drinking in the comments below. And if you don't drink, let me know what maybe coffee or tea or Coke or whatever that you're drinking. I had for the first time, I think it was like 2 weeks ago or something, Mountain Dew Voltage, or the blue one. And that was one of the greatest drinks I think I've ever had. It was so good, and it was super sugary. I was looking on it and I'm like, man, I think there was like 76 grams of sugar in it, but it was so delicious. I couldn't believe how good that was. And people had always told me it was good, and I just had never tried it. But for the first time, I picked one up and it was amazing. So I may get one of those again. Can't drink too much of it because it's just, I think it would give me headaches with the amount of sugar in it. Although I do love my sugar. I do love my sweets and my desserts, but this isn't a food show. It's not a food channel. So let's get back to the games and talk about the stuff that I've been playing this week. And I've played 3 games again, the same as last week pretty much, but I got further into them. So Windjammers 2, I've been playing more of that. That's just a fun game. I jump on, play online ranked matches and try to level up and get to the higher leagues. Rainbow Six Extraction, I played a lot more of that as well this week and really, really enjoying that game, playing it co-op, and just the overall kind of style of the game I find is great in terms of you just kind of jump in. You have your 3 missions that you try to get through, and if you can't get through them all, you extract early to still get as much XP as you can. And then you have all of these things called studies, which are little objectives that you do along the way, which keep you engaged beyond just the main objective of every time you launch into a game. So it's a lot of fun. If you haven't played it, it's pretty much just kind of like you're put into an area, you're put into a level like New York, San Francisco, Alaska. So there's a couple of different levels, and there are these like alien creatures that come out of nests, and they're just like all black, and they have like goo and stuff. I don't know what the exact wording is for it all. I haven't watched any of the cutscenes for the game. It's not really a story-driven game, but and they leave their stuff all on the ground, and it slows you down when you're walking, and you can shoot it to walk faster. And if they see you, they alert the other enemies as well. It can get really hectic, but you have these objectives when you're launched into it, and you have to get through the level without dying. And if you do die, you are stuck in the level itself if you're not extracted, because if you get KO'd, your teammate can bring you to the extraction pod and then you're okay. But if they fail to do that, this part I actually think is super cool. You have to go back into that exact level that you were in and then complete the objective to extract them to get them back, which is awesome. And in terms of your characters themselves, it's all of the operators from Rainbow Six Siege. But if you get hurt within the level, your HP is wherever like you left off. Like if you leave the the level with like 1 HP. The character that has 1 HP you're not going to be able to use for a little bit until you've completed more objectives, which will help increase their health, and then they'll be usable again. I know some people kind of didn't like that, but I think it's really cool. It kind of adds a added element to the game. It really makes you be strategic on the characters that you use, because each character levels individually, and then when you level them up you get more features for those characters. But you can't just go guns blazing. You really have to be strategic, especially if you're playing on the higher difficulties. I may have not explained it that well, but it's a fun game. It's awesome that's on Game Pass. I probably wouldn't have picked it up, paid full price for it if it wasn't on Game Pass, or at least I would have waited before jumping into it, because I do enjoy the Rainbow Six series. But it's a really, really fun co-op game once you really get the hang of all of the different features within the games and all the different things that you can do. So highly recommend it, especially if you have someone to play with. It's a 3-person co-op, but you can play with 2 people and just select the levels that you go into, and it kind of adjusts to how many people you're playing with, which is a good feature. The next game, the last game I've been playing this week, again, is Nobody Saves the World. And honestly, this game right now, I've played for about 16 hours, and I could say that I think when I'm done, it is going to be on my short list right now for my games of the year for 2022. I know we're only in January, and there's a huge slate of games coming out in February, something we'll talk about on today's show. But I love that game. It is so good. It is so addicting, so fun. The combat, the different characters you can transform into, the kind of traversal and the map and the colors and the art style and the music, everything in that game is just awesome. I really, really enjoy it. And it's from Drinkbox, who did the Guacamelee series. So they've made consistently really, really great games, and I can't say enough good things about Nobody Saves the World. I know that it didn't get like 10s or 9s and stuff. I think it got like around like 8s in reviews, maybe some 9s, but don't skip this game. Just don't skip it. I know for some people, they don't want to play these like smaller indie style games that don't have the big production value of a AAA game. But honestly, this is an incredible game, and I highly recommend Nobody Saves the World. It's that fun, at least for me. If you like RPGs, you like sort of like a Zelda style of game, in the sense that with the overhead view, and you need to kind of unlock certain things to be able to progress, like certain amount of stars to progress to a dungeon. There's dungeons all around the entire map, so it's kind of like a Zelda kind of mix with like big RPG mechanics. It's really awesome. One of the best things I love is how each character has their own specific quests of what you have to do in order to upgrade their form. So you have things called form points, and then you have your regular XP. And for example, let's say the objective is get 10 kills with a sword. If you do that, you're going to get form points to upgrade that character, which can go from, I believe, F all the way up to S, as well as you'll get XP to upgrade your overall level. So it's really cool. It's really deep. There's always something to do. I find it extremely addictive trying to continuously upgrade each character to S, and I can't recommend that game enough. So just another great game on Xbox Game Pass that, hey, if it wasn't on Xbox Game Pass, would I have checked out? I mean, it's definitely a game up my alley for the style of game it is. If I would have seen a trailer for it, I would have seen somebody playing it or some sort of marketing for it, I probably at some point would have picked it up and played it. However, there's no way I probably would have been able to play it on day one. I would have just jumped into something else. But I'm so happy it's there, and it's just another example of what Game Pass does and why I love the service so much. So again, Nobody Saves the World, highly recommend checking it out. But those are the 3 games that I've been playing, same as last week, and I foresee similar stuff this week as well. I'm going to try to finish Nobody Saves the World, and I'll probably play some more Extraction, because that's a game that really can go on forever. But yeah, let me know what you guys are playing in the comments below. So for topics this week, I went over most of the big stuff with my daily videos, but there was some other things I wanted to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is the games with gold. Xbox Live Gold and games with gold has really been kind of a hot topic for a while now, mainly because for a lot of people, the games that they give free every single month, nobody has interest in. At least that's what it seems like from social media alone, from like the big accounts that every month Games with Gold comes out. They put out a tweet just saying how bad the games are. And again, it was no different this month. So we got this February's Games with Gold, and there are 4 games: Broken Sword 5, Aerial Knights Never Yield, Hydrophobia, and Band of Bugs. And I'll say right off the bat, I have never heard of any one of these games. And my first thought on this was I don't have any interest in playing any of these specifically. Now, there are games in the past that I've seen come up on Games with Gold that people have said, they post this tweet or whatever, they post the picture, say, oh, what a horrible month for Games with Gold. And I've had interest in playing it. Even just last month, there was like a shoot 'em up game that I checked out and had a good time with. And I had heard about it previously, but I had never picked it up. It's kind of like a Japanese shoot 'em up style of thing. I forget the actual name of it right now. This is blanking me, but I played it last month and I actually had a decent amount of time with it. So it's, when it comes to Games with Gold, there's always kind of anger and outrage about the games that are announced. I have kind of a double-edged sword opinion on what I think about Xbox Live Gold in general and the Games with Gold stuff. So firstly, I'll talk about what I dislike and what I think needs to be changed. And firstly, it's the Games with Gold itself and the actual price of it and having to pay to play games online. I think that is ridiculous, and I wish Xbox would get rid of that feature and just kind of reduce the price of Games with Gold, make it like a $5 thing where, hey, you want to pay $5 a month, you're going to get free games every month, and that's the service. I mean, that's it pretty much. If anybody would want to do that, you'll get 4 or 5 games every single month, maybe kind of tier it out like one Series X game and then 2 or 3 360 or Xbox One games, something like that. I think if they went along those lines, it would be a lot different than what they're doing now. Right now, you pay in Canada, it's like $12 a month just to play games online on Xbox, and I think that is bad, and they need to kind of end that right there, because I was looking at the prices of everything, and it's really, really weird and just bad how the pricing and tiers work when it comes to Game Pass and Xbox Live Gold. So these are Canadian dollars. Let's say take $2 off of all of these prices for US dollars. But in Canada, Xbox Live Gold is $11.99 a month. And then you go over here and you see Game Pass for console, $11.99 a month. Game Pass for PC, $11.99 a month. Game Pass Ultimate, $16.99 per month. So let's say you just have an Xbox console, you want Game Pass, and you want to play online. You have to pay $24 a month, which is more than all of this, which is just absurd. It makes no sense. But I can see why they're doing it, in the sense that if you're somebody who's logical, you look at that, you're just going to be like, well, I'm just going to buy Xbox Game Pass Ultimate because I'll save $10 or $8 or whatever it is, and I'll get access to EA Play as well. Plus, if let's say one day I want to play on PC, I'll have that, and I'll be able to stream my games on my phone. So there's absolutely just no incentive to sign up for Xbox Live Gold. And that's why I think that the pricing is the same. Kind of just, it's a bad tactic. It's not a consumer friendly tactic. It goes against all of the things I guess Xbox stands for. But the reason I assume they're doing this is to slowly push people into Game Pass Ultimate. That's one. And then the second reason is they could probably have the numbers, and it's the amount of money they're making off people who are just paying $11.99 a month for Xbox Live Gold and playing like Call of Duty online or Battlefield or some other online multiplayer game that isn't free to play is probably insane. They're probably making so much money off of that for right now, they're going to just kind of wait until those numbers start to dwindle down to a point where a lot of those people have transferred over to Game Pass Ultimate. Then they're going to be able to come out and say, hey, we're slashing Xbox Live Gold. They'll look good, and then they'll still be making all of their money. That's what I kind of think's happening in my mind. Like, if I'm sitting in the boardroom, that's probably what they're looking at. But I don't know. I think they're eventually going to get rid of Xbox Live Gold, or just make it like a $5 or a $3 thing a month. so that if you're somebody who just has an Xbox Series X or S, you want Game Pass, but you also want the option to be able to play games online, you're not going to have to spend more than the price for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So that's my view on Xbox Live Gold or Xbox Gold in general. I think they just need to get rid of it at some point, and I think they will. They're just looking at the numbers. But when it comes to the games, like I said, just because you've never heard of them doesn't mean they're bad. They're still free, and people are going to check these out. Like, there are some people that will want to play them. So I don't know. It almost seems like every single month it's like this. It's all of these tweets coming out are trying to get Xbox's attention to kind of make a change by calling out how bad the games are. But you go down here and you look through some of the comments. Like I said, I've never heard of these games, as other people have. Like, other people are saying like Broken Sword 5 is good. Hydrophobia is an interesting game. Aerial Knights, what's it called? I keep saying Aerial Knights, but it's called Aerial Knights Never Yield. I think I've seen that guy on Twitter talking about the game, but they're saying that his game's good. And oh, he's right here. Aerial Knight. There you go. I'm pretty sure I'm following him. But anyways, people are saying they've played that game. It's good. This person says Aerial Knights Never Yield was a great game. I'm glad more people get a chance to play it. Soundtrack is awesome and the flow is smooth. The dev on this project was also awesome. Please don't poo-poo on their hard work. And I've seen a couple of comments on that. Broken Sword was a fun point and click, but not for everyone. Xbox and PlayStation digging the bottom of the barrel this month. Well, okay, that's a negative one. Please, if you guys haven't played Broken Sword before, it's probably the best point and click adventure game. Here's this one. I'm actually not too upset about this selection. Played Never Yield when it dropped on Switch. Wouldn't mind playing it again on Xbox. I'm always down for point and click games, so Broken Sword would probably interest me as well. So I guess my point I'm trying to make here is that, yeah, for a lot of people, they look at these games, they never heard of them, they instantly say it's garbage. But there is still, I would say, a lot of people who are kind of interested in these games and would check them out. There aren't going to be the vocal majority out there. They aren't going to be the ones that are super loud about it, but I don't know. The games, you're getting them for free. I'm not going to go out there and complain that you get free games with this. I guess technically not free, but you get games added on to a service you're already paying for. I pay for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, so to me, it's just like, okay, I get more free games. That's it. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to do something. They're just waiting for, like I said, the subscribers from Xbox Live Gold transferring over to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate once they realize that it makes absolutely no sense to pay for Game Pass and to pay for Gold, and then they'll either slash the price or just get rid of Xbox Live Gold in general. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the games with Gold and what you think they should do and the steps going forward and all that type of stuff. So we'll jump over here to another topic, and it is February. February 2022 is a huge month for Xbox, huge month for gaming in general. So besides Xbox games, you have a game like Horizon Forbidden West coming out on PlayStation 5, which is going to be a massive release for the console. They haven't had a first-party big game since Ratchet and Clank. Since, what is that, June? So that's huge. They're finally going to get a big game. It looks like it's going to be an incredible game in terms of graphics and just an overall quality of it. So that should be great for people on PS5. I'm probably not going to pick it up right away. I may get into it later. I never really got into the series. I tried playing it again for the second time, and I don't know if it's that I was bored of the game, but it's just I always get pulled back to Game Pass and games coming out on Game Pass that I just lose my attention for my PlayStation 5. So I haven't finished the Horizon Zero Dawn yet, so I'll wait to get Forbidden West. But besides that, there are lots of games. We just have Pokemon Arceus come out on the 28th on the Nintendo Switch, so another huge game that gets released, and that looks really good. That's one I actually do really want to play. I think I am going to pick up Pokemon at some point and play through that. But let's look at the games coming to Xbox in February. And we have Life is Strange Remastered. And Life is Strange, that's a award-winning adventure, like narrative style game. Then we got the huge one here, Dying Light 2 Stay Human. We've heard all about this game. It was delayed. It looks incredible, and you're gonna have up to 500 hours of content in it, and that's obviously not going to be just the main story. That's going to be everything included. So there's already a ton of stuff with that. So that's a game a lot of people are very excited for. Excited to see how they kind of upgrade the overall movement and the parkour and the combat and everything with that game. So that's huge. February 4th, that's just around the corner. Ollie World, that's like that skateboarding a game, the action platformer, side scrolling one. Crossfire X, that's one people have been waiting for so long. It was announced that it was coming to Xbox. It was the Remedy's kind of take on the first person shooter narrative campaign for the series. So that looks cool. We've seen some previews on it. I've heard mixed reactions so far on the previews, but I'm still very interested in checking out Crossfire X. Dynasty Warriors 9, if you're a Dynasty Warriors fan, a new one is coming out on February 15th, and that has a huge fan base. Next one here on February 17th, one I'm actually really excited for, King of Fighters 15. So I've talked about fighting games before when I jumped into Mortal Kombat 11 for a bit, and I've said I'm terrible at fighting games. I'm like, if I play online, I'll lose pretty much most of the time unless I spend hours and hours and hours learning it. But I love playing the story modes. I love playing the arcade modes, any of like just the versus the CPU modes and going through with all the characters and stuff. I've always enjoyed that. And fighters in general always have had like a soft spot in my heart for my enjoyment of them, because I enjoy playing them, but I'm really bad. So it's always weighing, do I want to just go get my ass beat all the time and have fun, or do I just kind of want to stay away from that for now? But King of Fighters 15, I'm excited for, because King of Fighters 14, I do not believe was on Xbox, and the King of Fighters series is just an awesome fighting series. I mean, so many great characters, and the actual fighting style and the movement and the controls are just really, really well done. So I'm excited for that. I think I'm going to be picking up the Omega edition for that, which is, if I have it up here, I should have it. Yeah. So it's coming, this version here, which is like $30 more than the game itself. The game itself is only like $50 or $60. In Canada, I believe it's $60, and then the Omega edition is like $90. So it's like $30 more, but you get soundtrack, digital content, 119-page art book, a slipcase, and lithograph. So I thought that was a pretty good deal for only $30 more. You've seen special editions before with this amount of content, and it charged a lot more. So I think it's a pretty good deal. I'm going to pick it up on Xbox and I think I'll have a good time with it. It's the first time I'm going to be getting a fighting game on day one since, I believe, Soul Calibur 6 back in 2018. So excited for that one. I don't know. Let me know out there in the comments if you're excited, if you're going to be picking up King of Fighters 15. Do you like fighting games and all that type of stuff? So after King of Fighters 15, Destiny 2, The Witch Queen. It's going to be another expansion to the game, and I'm assuming for Destiny fans, that's a huge expansion, and they are very excited about that. I don't play Destiny, or at least I don't play it anymore. I played it for a bit back in the day, but I haven't played it in a long time. So, but I'm assuming The Witch Queen is going to be an expansion people are very excited for. And then the last two games for February, both releasing on the same day, both really big games. You have, I'll start off with the lesser big game, Grid Legends, which is like that racing game that was shown off. And it looks like it's more of a movie style in terms of the cinematics, with a really cool story, but obviously it'll have great racing because it is coming from the people who do the Dirt series, I believe, right? And Codemasters. So who are now purchased by EA, meaning that Game Pass is going to get Grid Legends, which is awesome. Because when they first showed this game off, I was like, okay, this looks cool. I see what they're going for with like the more cinematic kind of like story mode thing, where you see in some sports games where you're going through the life of like in Madden or like an NFL star or whatever, right? And you're going through that, and they had like those like movie cut scenes and the whole story behind the character you're playing, and they're kind of going for that here, I think, in Grid Legends, and it looks really good. The racing looks fun, fast paced. So probably a game I will check out. I will most likely wait until it comes on to Xbox Game Pass, because it will. Generally, EA games come to Game Pass 6 months after their release, and with the amount of games I'm playing right now, I'm going to be able to wait. So again, February 25th, if you're interested in that one, that's a big one. And then the biggest one of them all, Elden Ring, finally going to be here on February 25th. And I've said this before, when it comes to these styles of games, I don't have too much experience in them. I've played I checked out the Demon Souls on PS5, didn't finish it. I've checked out, I'm trying to think, maybe that's it. That may be it. Jedi Fallen Order, but I love that game. I beat it on the hardest difficulty, but I feel like although it has these Souls mechanics, it was much easier than these styles of games. Because if I beat it on the hardest difficulty, there's no way that it's even close to being as hard as the Souls games. But Elden Ring is in that genre. A lot of people are excited for it, and I'm like, you know what? It looks cool. Do I want to pick it up and play it on day one? I don't know. I may fall for the hype. That's the only thing. I know that I'll have some credit at GameStop. So I want to use it on Elden Ring on day one and kind of jump in when everyone else is jumping in. I may fall for the hype. That's the only way I really see myself picking this up on day one. But I think I will end up playing this game. I think I really, really will give it a go and try to get through it as best as I can. We'll see what happens. But Elden Ring, February 25th. And I think I can't wait to just see people's reactions for it and maybe watch some streams and see how they're doing, because it's going to be pretty crazy when that game comes out. So February is an amazing month for games coming to Xbox, and we don't even know yet what crazy announcements we're going to get for Xbox Game Pass, as January was really good, and I'm hoping February will be very similar when it comes to the Game Pass releases. All right, jumping over here to the final topic, and it has to do with just some Xbox Game Studios and some recent hires they have done. So this is a tweet from Clobril, and this has to do with Roundhouse Studios, which to me is a very interesting studio. I don't know too much about them, but we'll talk about them after I go over this. It says here, Roundhouse Studios is looking for a senior character artist. The listing could imply multiple projects are in the works. Experience with Unreal Engine is a preferred skill. Then he says here, personally, I think the studio is assisting on Redfall. And we look here at the actual job posting. Again, senior character artist, and there's a lot of qualifications and a lot of information with this position for Roundhouse, located in Madison, Wisconsin. Now, Clobril seems to think that this is somebody that will be helping push Redfall along, which is interesting because we got this rumor kind of thing this week, which I also talked about earlier on in the week, and it was a rumor roundup for Redfall. Now the big things here is that apparently it's going to be launching in October, and that there's going to be a campaign around 18 hours long. Now I believe they originally had slated this game for summer of 2022, and an October release would make sense if it got delayed just a little bit. But they first showed this game off at last year's E3. It was the last game they showed off to get people excited for a brand new IP that's coming out from Arcane, from Xbox Game Studios. And that's all we really saw, just a kind of a cinematic trailer. Now, when they showed that trailer, I thought it looked cool. I wasn't that extremely hyped for it. I think there was a lot of confusion around the game as to what it was going to be like. I think most people assumed it was just kind of like another Left 4 Dead clone with vampires, but it does not seem to be that way at all, in the sense that there's going to be a relatively long campaign. And I'm really happy to hear about that. I'm happy to see that there's going to be a story that Arcane is going to be able to tell, because they make some incredible games. They make some incredible narratives. You look at the Dishonored games. I haven't played Deathloop yet, but I've heard that one is pretty good. And I mean, I'm hoping that this game is going to have a deep story with deep character development, all that type of stuff, with, on top of that, just incredible gameplay. Again, with the games that they have made, their gameplay has been top notch. So I'm very excited for Redfall, now that we know that there is going to be a campaign. Now we didn't just hear about this through this rumor leak. We heard about this previously. It came out, they kind of clarified what the game entailed. But I think with vampires stuff, it could be a very interesting game. It moves away from the generally what everyone does with these types of games, is like the zombie style. So vampires could be very, very cool. Now, when it comes to Roundhouse Studios, the reason I say this studio is interesting is because we have no idea really what they're working on right now. And they could just be helping out with multiple projects. But if we look at the studio in general, how it came to be under ZeniMax, it's a good story in the sense that they were a studio called Human Head for one day, and then the very next day they became Roundhouse. So they were making a game called Rune 2. They published that game on November 12th, 2019, and then on November 13th they closed Human Head and opened their doors again and became Roundhouse Studios under the ZeniMax portfolio, which is one of the weirdest moves we've seen within the industry. But they've worked on a bunch of older stuff, like they worked on games for the OG Xbox. They worked on a game called Blair Witch Volume 2, The Legend of Coffin Rock, Rune spin-offs, Dead Man's Hand for the original Xbox, and the Prey game that came out in 2006. And now here we are in 2022. We're not really sure what they're working on, but they are hiring people. So they could either be helping out other studios or they could be working on a brand new game from that studio itself, which I would like to see. I'm kind of hoping it's a brand new game. I'm kind of seeing like maybe it's a brand new IP that Xbox is letting them just do their creative thing and come up with something brand new that we're going to see an announcement for in further showcases. So that's the Roundhouse one. And then the other one, which I briefly touched on in some videos, I think it was last week, is this one here. And it has to do with Tango Gameworks hiring the lead game designer for Bayonetta 3. Now, Bayonetta, I love that series. I love the first two games, the action game. It's kind of like the same lines as like Devil May Cry, and Tango Gameworks has hired this person, which could mean a couple of things. They're either there to go help finish off Ghostwire Tokyo, or they're starting to develop a new action game, which I think would be perfect. I think it would be a great thing, great move if Xbox and Tango Gameworks started to create a Bayonetta / Devil May Cry style of game for the Xbox ecosystem. Not only will that be a hit in Japan, but it'll just be a great addition. Something we don't really have from Xbox Game Studios is like the Bayonetta style of game right now. And I would love to see that occur. So Xbox is definitely going out and they're picking up talent. They're hiring people. They're looking for new talent, and they're continuing to expand because they probably have just so many projects on the go that they need to continue to acquire that talent. Now, the big thing too is when you're so big, you have so many employees. If you're going to keep getting talent, you're going to want to be able to keep that talent. So you're going to have to have a good working environment. And from what we've seen so far, the Xbox Game Studios has that, and they're able to get talent from other studios and keep the people that they have. And of course, obviously people are going to leave and go other places as well. But hopefully if they keep fostering what they have right now, we're going to continue to see just some great work come out of these studios. And we're still so early on. 2022, the Series X has been out for a year. But as Xbox previously mentioned, they want to release games on like a 3-month schedule. Every 3 months or so, new Xbox Game Studio drops into Game Pass. And once that really starts rolling in, and we're starting to kind of see it, we saw it with Forza, we saw it with Halo. We're seeing it again, hopefully closer to that time frame this year. We're going to have Redfall. We're going to have Starfield. I think it'll be pretty amazing, just the amount of good content we're going to be getting from Xbox Game Studios. But that's it for me, guys. I'm going to call the show there, episode number 37 of the Plumecast. Again, let me know what you think about all of this stuff. And I always appreciate the support on this channel, on this show, and stay tuned for the upcoming videos this week. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.